Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Demon Gaze 2. I've actually been kind of looking forward to this one because I liked Demon Gaze for what it was. I thought it was a nice entry-level style dungeon RPG to have a look at. There goes some thunder. I wonder if the power's going to cut off halfway through this, but nevertheless, let's just get into this right away, shall we? We might as well go have a look at the options first, though. A couple of things that are worth noting. You've got the ability to turn off voices for certain events, which I might actually recommend for like the dungeon and party formation, but other than that, you might want to leave the rest of them on. And you also got individual voice volume sliders, and you also have the ability to change the audio language to the Japanese dub, which is great. I've actually been playing on the English dub, because as far as I'm concerned, the English dub in this game isn't half bad at all, so, you know, it's actually nice seeing that someone actually did a decent dub recently. But nevertheless, we will load into one of my games. I do have two games up here which have recordings, and a third game there which has boss fight. So I'm sorry, I just heard some weird shouting. Let's just load into my game right away. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you that much in the way of story content because the last boss I had to fight, I had to drop the difficulty down to 1 for, and even then, I'm going to have to go and face the next boss, like, almost immediately. So there won't be much in the way of story, but, you know, generally that's the best way we want to go about these things. So, we're here in the Stella's place, which is the location that you go and you do all your preparation stuff in, so we'll go have a bit of a look around anyway. So, there's a few things we can go have a look at. The manager's room and Prim's room are just for talking and stuff, so we won't worry too much about them. We can go to our room to do a few specific things like check the status of everybody, which you can also do with the triangle button. We can change our party setup, we'll get into that later. We can change rooms, and this is a neat little mechanic where you can put a certain demon in a certain room to give them a little bit of a boost. And there are a couple of things that this brings up. One notable fact is that you don't actually make characters anymore. Not in Demon Gaze 1 style where you would make them as a specific race, a specific class, and give them their own little stats out of a random pool. No, they give you pre-made demons pretty much all the time. Like, I'm not entirely sure what brought this about, but that's exactly what they've done, and all the demons are preset. The only thing you can change about them is their liberty skill. When they get to a specific level, you can unlock their liberty skill, and it's one of 2 or 3 particular skills, and then that's it. Like, as you can see, but on her, when I first got her, I was able to choose between avoid and hit, which seems to be a bit of a weird choice to make, but whatever. You've also got demon skills, which you can use when you go into demon form, support skills, heal spells, attack spells, and special abilities that unlock via leveling up. That's pretty basic stuff. Every character is like this. They have nothing in the way of any sort of, like, really meaningful choices to make. They're just a straight line, which is kind of unfortunate, really. Nothing in the way of, like, class changing or anything like that. It's just preset characters, more or less. Now, you can see the bit of a difference going on here. Like, we got a Stranger's Sword City art, and then a, obviously, like, Demon Gaze level art going on, which is a little bit odd, if you ask me. I'm not entirely sure why they give you the ability to swap between only 2 portraits for all of these characters, but there's only like 1 Demon Gaze and 1 Stranger of Sword City, but you've got the main protagonist who can't swap between them at all. It's odd. You've also got items, lots of different kinds of items. You've got your gems, which is pretty basic for this sort of game, for Demon Gaze sequel. You've got furniture, you've got sellable items, you've got armor, weapons, and all that. Really basic stuff. Only some people can equip some weapons, like I've got a murderous katana equipped here. Bunch of different kinds of armor, and if I go over to Pegasus here, I can actually have a look at this hammer. You can see all your stats on the right there, whether or not it's compatible with anything, and the special abilities they have on the bottom there. So you can see Intelligence +1 and Silence. Both of these are actually pretty decent things to have on her, because she has a few spells of her own. Some equipment, of course, is rare and comes with its own stats. Sometimes it's not. You can change the order of your party, so it's pretty basic. You can only take 5 demons along with you at any one time, and you can put them in either the front or the back. The back obviously can't reach with certain kinds of weapons, and the front is obviously the ones that are more likely to be attacked, but they can also be attacked in the back as well, and my back row is usually the first to die, which is why I don't take that many along. But then again, I have a reason for not taking that many along, because in the first 5 hours of this bloody game, yes, this is a 5-hour save game, I've only just gotten my 6th demon. And I don't even have her yet, technically. I beat my 6th demon, because the way you beat them, the way you get them to join you is by beating them in their dungeons. So you have to go and beat the crap out of them, and unfortunately that means I've only had a full party for something like an hour. So yeah, it's kind of annoying like that. You've also got quests, obviously. There are some side quests, like go and find stuff. You can kick walls to go and look for stuff. And I can go and give him that now in order to get things like... I think it gives furniture as a reward, but yeah. You can also come down here to chat to your particular demons. It's a little odd, I'll give you that. You can also come here to check your status and all that. You only get one room at the very beginning, and then you have to buy the rest, which is kind of annoying if you want me to be honest. At least it doesn't charge you every time you come back home like the original Demon Gaze, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel as engaging anymore in that sense. You've got the tavern, you've got the showers, and if anyone shows up here, you can talk to them. You can also change your appearance, but there's not that much else to see other than that. So, there's a couple of other things. We can come have a look at the Revolution, which shows you supporters, your max star gauge, and what have you, but this means nothing. This is basically just a really fancy way of saying, you beat a new demon, you get more on the star gauge. So, yeah, it's kind of pointless, honestly. The whole story is that you're basically part of a revolution trying to take over a city that's been overtaken itself by some overpowered super demon or something like that. It's not particularly complex at the moment. So there are 3 things we can do down here. The weapon in the item shop is pretty damn obvious. You can come here to buy pretty much anything. You can buy artifacts, you can buy gems, which you use in the field to get items. You can buy consumables here, and you can also buy furniture. And as you can see, they give you these little stat boosts for your people if you have them in a room, not a room with one. You can sell stuff. You can even get some bargains, which is kind of nice because you can see that there's a bunch of stuff on sale here, and they cost slightly less than they would normally, but money is as big a problem in this game as it ever has been. So actually trying to get money for stuff is kind of annoying because you're torn between 3 different things you want to do with your items at the same time. You're deciding whether or not to sell them, hold on to them, or use them as ether mill bait, which we'll get to. You can also play the lottery for 1,000 gold, which will give you some items if you win, but again, 1,000 gold, kind of hard to come by in this game. Yes, that is one of the characters from Demon Gaze 1. We've also got Prometh from Demon Gaze 1, who clearly still has no idea how to dress herself properly. So, you can go to your item storage here, and you can add up to 2,000 items. You can also go to the ether mill, and when you go to the ether mill, you can break down items and you'll get ether, and then you can use that ether to upgrade items of a similar type. So I can, if I had 4 ether in the shield, I could upgrade this and it would give it just a little bit more extra stat boost. And again, it's actually kind of hard to find gems in order to actually upgrade your stuff like this. So and considering that you have to go and make a bunch of bloody money in order to buy gems normally, it means that the whole game just feels way slower than it used to. I feel like I've been doing a hell of a lot less in a lot more time in comparison to the first game, and it just feels really slow. But we'll get on to the rest of that. We can revive here. It doesn't seem to be anything more than 50 gold for everyone you want to revive, which is nice, but then again, that just makes the game pretty easy. You can change the difficulty here, which I am going to do. I'm going to put it back up to 3 stars, because, or hot, I should say, because there are 5 difficulty levels, and as far as I can tell, the difficulty doesn't actually change between beginner and hot. I was on hot before. It starts off at difficulty level 2, but I ended up putting the difficulty up. And other than getting, like, taking a little bit more damage and getting a little bit more XP, putting it down to beginner only let me, like, revive up to 3 times in a battle, which is weird. Like, what is it with experienced games recently and not really knowing how to do difficulty? It's a bit odd. Stranger of Sword City was a bit broken. Ray Gigant was so bloody easy that I almost fell asleep playing it. And this is just weirdly unbalanced, even for that. It's really odd. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell did they choose to make it so that the demons are your party members this time, so that you couldn't make your own party members and, you know, make your own party and go have fun with them? Well, this is why. Does this look even slightly familiar yet? It will, trust me. So, When you beat a major demon, you get a maintenance crystal. You can also get them from somewhere else, but here's the difference. You basically just have to find the perfect spot on them, which is a little odd, but it's a lot less sexually suggestive than most other games of this kind, so it's actually kind of a nice, refreshing thing. But the way it works is that you just got to pick a couple of areas at random, and then you've just got to put the cursor down somewhere, hold the X button, and hope you get the right spot. I clearly didn't. So you do kind of need to... just play guesswork. Once you get their likability level up to 100%, you have the ability to go out on a date with them. And it doesn't sound anywhere near as bad as you might think, although to be fair, sometimes it kind of is. And once you level them up, they'll get an extra ability or two. That's basically it. So it really is just a grind, coming back in here constantly. Like, I'll let you see one of these events, because I can definitely get Leo up to maximum likability with pretty much anything, really. I don't... Oh, yeah, quick move. Just move around. I'm guessing this... Oh, yeah, I actually found it. Nice. Found the perfect spot. I'm not entirely sure why it's down there on the sword, but there it is. So we'll just move it down here and hold the X button. Bam. And that was perfect. What? Okay. I don't know why... I have no idea why that happened, but anyway. I'll just go and let this event play out.
I'm so bored. Hey, bro.
There's a little bit of voice acting here.
You're not busy, right?
I can't actually hear it though, because I don't have my headphones on right now. But you get the general idea. It's a pretty basic event. You don't really seem to have anything along the lines of... like, right or wrong decisions. It's just events that happen.
What are you getting, bro? You don't get squat unless you order.
At least the writing's alright. Text is a bit odd, a little thin, but...
Why would you get such fancy junk?
Oh, I guess...
Excuse me! More, please!
I guess maybe there are some right or wrong decisions, but oh well, not like it matters. But yeah, I'm actually gonna play a story cutscene just after we get out of this area to let you listen to the voice acting, because thankfully the voice acting in the English dub of this game is actually pretty good. Like, it's nothing particularly amazing, but I mean, it's head and shoulders above what I've had to listen to recently, I've got to say. The characters all feel like they're in the right spot. I mean, the voice actors, I should say. They all feel like they're in the right characters. However, there's something weird about the dub where half the lines don't get voiced. It's one of those weird games again where, like, the only lines that seem to get voiced are half of major story scenes, and that's basically it. I'm not entirely sure why it's so... had the word in my head and I lost it. I have no idea why it's so picky with what it chooses to voice, but it does, for whatever reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play the voiced scenes for you now to let you listen.
Hey! This way! I dug up some more info while I was waiting for you. I got in touch with someone who knows exactly where Toma is. I'm a businessman after all. You are welcome to sing my praises. So anyway, I arranged for us to meet with this person, but they haven't arrived.
I made it! Sorry about that. I got lost trying to get here. It's so easy to lose your sense of direction in such a big, open place.
Yeah, not like the lighthouse in this harbor sticks out much.
I wanted to tell you in person. I humbly request that you hold off trying to rescue him. I am Eric, the Astral Soul Magician. I created demons when at the castle. There is something I must discuss with your leader, Muse, of Stella's place. No need for that threatening look. I seem to be considered a traitor. Remember, when you escaped the castle, I'm the one who let you get away. If my intention was to tell my lord... Magnestar about you all, I would have.
Yes, yes. That's a very good point. Surely you agree? Oh, you, such a silly thing to say. Such a noble elf as I, stooping so low as to accept a bribe? Nevertheless, he's putting himself in danger to help us out.
It makes me look more suspicious if you praise me so openly like that. Well, my actions have been dubious. I'd given you advice, but not my name. I won't ask for instantaneous trust, but please, take me to Stella's place. Whenever I try to go there myself, I get lost for some reason. So, will you do this for me? Thanks! If it helps, you can tie me up.
So? How'd you end up bringing this weirdo back when you went to find Toma? What? This is beyond suspicious.
Postpone Toma's rescue?
Yeah, no. I can't agree to this.
Come on! At least hear the guy out. He's a great person, and so very generous, too.
So that's why, you greedy porker! So it wasn't enough for you to be raking it in selling radios, huh? How much did he pay you? Spill it!
Okay, I was paid. I admit to that much. But I thought he'd help our revolution. The fact remains that he has information regarding Toma. Besides, this is Revolutionist Party HQ, you know. If he becomes a threat, we can make our little problem disappear.
That's not bad thinking.
Right.
Right.
Muse, you sound like a villain.
It's settled. We will arrange a meeting post-haste. Demon Gazer, we're counting on you to step in if things go south. Allow me to introduce the Astral Soul Magician, Eric! Appalled by Magnestar's atrocities, he has agreed to cooperate with us.
So you bought out Lazarum's loyalty. Well, why come to me?
Bought his loyalty? Not at all. I paid him the standard referral fee. Huh? He told me that is how things work out here. Is that not the case?
That's news to me.
Let's set that aside.
It's probably best if we do. As for why I'm here, please know that Toma is safe. For now, anyway.
Where is he being held? Inside the castle?
Sadly, I don't know that much. But please, hear me out. Do not rescue him right away, even if you find out where he is.
Eric, you must explain your reasoning for that. Otherwise, you won't convince anyone here.
Stella's place would have a big target on it if you bring the culprit here. Cygnus the Quester would catch on. It would be suicide.
That's true. But we won't go down without a fight.
That's right. We have demons too.
Do you really believe that? You saw the Stargaze's power, no?
Stargaze? What's that?
A power that amassed in Magnestar's eyes from accumulated star power. Anyone under Stargaze's influence turns into his puppet. If the demon gazer's under his control, how can your revolution continue? Right. I figured as much.
You have a point. I highly doubt that everyone will abandon Toma, though.
Oh? And why is that?
Because the thing that keeps us all together is trust. It's nothing to brag about, but we lack both money and authority. The Revolutionist Party will die if we betray that bond of trust. As soon as word gets out that we left Toma for dead, we're done for.
I see. So the reason is not purely emotional. I have another suggestion then. If you truly wish to rescue Toma, you must quash Cygnus first.
Why's that?
Cygnus is a quester and a songstress. She uses her song to keep this entire region spellbound. The voice crystals, they amplify her song.
Ah, so that's it. She rules this region.
With Cygnus gone, the people here will be freed from her spell. Then, more will listen to your broadcast and support your cause. It also means no more inspections. Toma can return without worry. Without the support of the people, Magnastar can't do as he pleases.
Yes, that's our ultimate goal. Alone, we're powerless. But we can win together.
How good. I'm glad you're so understanding. I was afraid that you would make me disappear if I failed to convince you.
What?
That's utterly preposterous! We're peace-loving rebels, you know? So violent retribution, making people disappear? We don't do any of that.
Silly Eric, you have such an imagination.
I suppose I do. My concerns were unwarranted.
Geez, sis. So black-hearted.
Well, I get what you're saying, but tell me one thing. Why would someone who created demons just now decide to betray Magnastar?
Well... Magnastar... I can't follow him anymore. Until recently, we've been working toward a brighter future together. But he's changed. He no longer listens to me. All this time, all my hard work, it's going to have been in vain. The only way to right this ship is to stop him with the Revolutionist Party. That's why I'm offering to cooperate, knowing full well that I'm suspicious. I'm not asking for your trust. I'll earn it through my actions.
Alright, now you're back from that, let's actually go and play this bloody thing. So, go to the entryway and we can set up our party and save and load. And there's a couple of other things we can do, but honestly, it's nothing really worth worrying about. So actually, just one thing before I leave, I want to check that I've got gems, just so I can use them as a form of demonstration. Yeah, I got undies, I got accessories, that will do fine. So we're just going to go to a random dungeon now. Just before I get into the actual dungeon, you actually unlock 3 dungeons at exactly the same time. However, you can't actually go into whichever one you want, so don't even bother trying. Just go into 666 Avenue first, then the Star Temples dungeon, then the Dragonwood Parks dungeon. You won't be able to get much further than that if you don't have the party members you get from the preceding dungeons. The entire game feels a hell of a lot more linear than the previous game, I'll just put it that way, because at least you could, like, take your time grinding up your party members and stuff, and, you know, trying different decisions to see what would work better. In this game, you don't get that. You're just stuck with what you've got, more or less, and it makes the entire game feel way more linear than it really should. But we'll go have a look around anyway. Yep, there's a loot thing that I can go get here, so... well, that's actually kind of nice. There are these doors all over the place that you can't open, just because you don't have particular demons dead, and you run into these in every single dungeon and they only get unlocked after a specific point. So really, it's just one-way wall, by the way. It's just way more linear than the previous game felt. Sure, the previous game was, you know, it was pretty linear. it went, like, all over the place, and it did give you dungeons, but then it made some... It just made some really linear decisions, I know that much, but this game, I feel like I've been on a leash the entire time. I've preset party members, preset dungeons, a preset way to go through the dungeon, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't do anything particularly interesting or just remotely new, which is, to be fair, it's a bloody experience title, so I don't know what I was expecting, but oh well, let's get into a fight anyway. So, we've got demons that we need to fight, and we've got a few things we can do to accommodate that. So, everybody has the ability to attack and defend, use an item, and use a skill. We're just going to attack with everyone first, because you probably want to see that this is a... You probably want to see that this is one of those sorts of dungeon crawlers, because everybody seems to really want to know about... Everyone seems to really like, well, not like, I should say, these sorts of dungeon crawlers where it's, you know, just 2D pictures getting swung at. The actual art and presentation itself is fine, but that's because it's Experience, and if Experience managed to fuck that up, I'd be very worried. But yeah, it's pretty basic stuff, if you want me to be honest. There's not much in the way of any particularly kind of interesting challenge. Enemies do have their own resistances and weaknesses, and you do have a fair amount of consumable items you can use that have different things like skills and spells, and obviously like HP recovery and stuff like that behind them. We've got a few things we can do here. Gaze a Bolt, which is just a strength-based spell for some reason. You got heal and some support spells. Like you have this immediately. Return to Stella's place. Cannot be used everywhere, but you can use it pretty much anywhere. There are a couple of specific places you can't, but that just means that you have an easy way to get right back home without even trying. So it's really easy. Like, even on the higher difficulties where it just means you take more damage and it feels more unfair than it does challenging, but it's just... It's entirely uncreative, is the problem. Like, I liked Demon Gaze because it had a couple of unique and neat ideas, while also still being a neat little introduction to the entire concept. That's the main reason I like Demon Gaze. If I had to pick a game over Demon Gaze that was, like, outright better, I would pick, like, something like Dungeon Travelers, but Dungeon Travelers is a fair bit harder, and I do think that the original Demon Gaze was better for introducing the concept, but it's just... This game here is just so unbelievably dull that even me pre-Demon Gaze would find this game a bit of a laugh. As I said, it's extremely linear, so, I mean, other than getting your ass completely handed to you by going to the dungeon that you're not really supposed to yet, there is basically no way to fail unless you put the difficulty up so high that you're basically getting one-shotted. As far as I can tell, there's not much in the way of, like, defense-building skills or anything like that that you can pull in just to, I'm really not even trying here, which is why, that poor girl over there is getting hurt. I probably should cure her just so I don't have to run back to base to get her healed, but, oh, no, there we go, we won. Got XP, a little bit of money, and yada 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 yada. It's just so simple. It doesn't really do anything outside of the most generic of dungeon crawler tropes, which is kind of annoying. Oh yeah, I got a skull, I can give that to Prometh later. But for the past 5 hours, I've been looking for a reason to give a shit. And I've had a ridiculous amount of trouble finding a reason to give a shit. It's just kind of annoying and frustrating, more than anything else. Just cause it's because of the balance. The balance is a bit off, and it makes everything just that tiny bit weak, and then you go and fight a boss, and the boss is too overly strong. You can't make money at an even remotely respectable rate, so you're always juggling between 3 things that really shouldn't be as important as they should be, as they are in this game. It's just dull, more than anything else. I find nothing particularly enjoyable about this game, which is kind of frustrating, honestly. I'm gonna Fire Blast the guys in the back, because why the hell not? You can, of course, do a quick battle just by tapping the triangle button and then trapping it again. Tapping it. By tapping it and then tapping it again. The characters are uninteresting to level up. The loot, even the loot is a little bit weird. Like, this is the whole thing with the gems and all that back from Demon Gaze 1. So we can put in gems, and there are some specific gems that we can put in that might do specific things. Like, you can see some enhancement gems here, including increased gems. I'm not even entirely sure what that's about. But yeah, you can put in different kinds of gems, and these different kinds of gems will give you different equipment depending on what you put in. So if we put in an undies gem, an accessories gem, and a strengthened gem, it'll give us stronger enemies that drop underwear and accessories. You do also have artifacts, which you can equip to which you can equip to anyone. They'll give them that specific ability. So if you get like a fire blast and you equip that to the healer mage, they'll also get the ability to fire off fire blast. But other than that, I mean, I've been struggling to find a reason to care for the past 5 hours, but its overall linearity, its surprising lack of interesting mechanics, even the whole gem system here doesn't seem to have been touched from Demon Gaze 1. So I'm not entirely sure what they're going for here, but it's just... It feels like a step back from Demon Gaze 1 in pretty much every way imaginable. It's weird. Okay, so we've got some samurai underwear and some glasses that increase magic powers. I assume that means intelligence and wisdom. That might actually be a good thing to put on my mage. We'll see. It's not like I plan on playing this again, but... Right, where is my mage? Here we are. Magic glasses gives her intelligence +1, but it also helps a few of her stats a bit, which would probably be a good thing. And we should probably put these onto... I don't even remember her name. It's Capricorn, yeah. Can you tell how much I care? I care so much I can't even remember the individual demons' names. All the dungeons are actually really simple, too. I mean, I'm wandering around a dungeon that I've already found everything in, but there doesn't seem to be much in the way of anything outside the ordinary. There are floors that hurt you, one-way walls, a couple of other things, nothing particularly interesting. You can see that there are tons of parts of this dungeon I can't even get into yet. I've literally just been stuck in this one little area here. The general idea of every dungeon is to go and use a gem on every one of these. Every one of these, gem pedestals, whatever you want to call them. And once you've done that, you get to... Wow. That's a lot more enemies than, That's a lot more enemies than the last thing I did, which is a little lot. But anyway, I'm going to demonize, which is apparently supposed to raise their stats, but doesn't really. Also, yeah, you've also got all these extra abilities you can use here, but of course your star gauge relies on them, and if that goes down to 0, everybody gets transformed back to normal. So we're not going to waste time with those abilities. We're just going to start beating the crap out of them as soon as humanly possible. So, yeah. At least it looks nice. I mean, the enemy designs look pretty neat. The overall, just graphical style looks pretty nice, and just... there we go. I literally just auto-battled through that. It wasn't particularly hard. Apparently I got some red loincloth as well. Rank E, of course. And the thing is, doing these all these gem pedestals is a pain in the ass too, because as I said, you don't get that many gems, and unless you want to, like, budget them out one by one across every one of these things, you're not going to have the bloody money to actually buy the gems you need to do full runs of these things. So, I do not care. That's the problem. I have lost the ability to care completely, which is really unfortunate, because I liked Demon Gaze 1. I've said that over and over again, but this doesn't feel like Demon Gaze. This just feels like one of the most generic and this is just one of the most generic, unenjoyable
Here goes. Here goes.
dungeon crawlers I've played in a while.
Here goes.
That's some real lightning, holy shit.
Here goes.
A Thief K plus 10, Jesus, that's a nice thing to have. There are, of course, boss fights, but they do some weird things with the boss fights, and I think now's as good a time as any to show you that. So, we're gonna go back to the... We're gonna go back and we're gonna load into the other save game that I've got ready, which has one of the boss dungeons ready to be demonstrated, right? So, we cast Return Door here. And we go to System and load up the save game that I made. So you do get a save point before every major demon battle, but let me show you how the major demon battles work. The way the game presents it before you actually go into one of these demon portals is it says that you get to go into these big... It makes it sound like it's a really big dungeon that you can't escape from is going to present you with a huge amount of challenge. Not what you get at the end of the day. What you get is a small dungeon that gives you a little puzzle. There was a little signpost back there that said, if you knock in 10 masks, you will not be allowed to advance. I think I've knocked in one too many masks already, but it's literally just find the right path to the boss fight. That's literally all this bloody little mini dungeon is. And that's all the dungeons have been. I'm not even kidding. It's that bad. It's... How did I... Never mind. I need to get through this nice and quick before the lightning kills the power, which it probably will, knowing my luck.
I'm coming. Here goes.
I'm gonna show you what a boss fight looks like before I end the video, because... Well, not much else I can do, really.
Not yet. I'm coming.
Well, I mean, I can do a lot of things, but... You get the idea, Dim. So... It's weird, like, what relevance does this little puzzle have in this? I'm not entirely sure. And frankly, I'm not even entirely sure I care. And when you level up, you just get, like, 1 point. You seriously only get 1 point to put in, which is frustrating. But yeah, look, I kicked down the 10th one and I've been sent back to the beginning. It's literally just find your way through the correct path. So yeah, see, this way you'll take less masks, which means I'll be able to get through it faster. You can also run into random encounters in here as well, but the random encounter rate, even at difficulty level 3, is surprisingly low. Yeah, now we're through that dungeon. There's the boss. I say dungeon in finger quotes. So let's just, wrong one to try and heal. Right, so, time to go show you the demon fight that I kind of sort of got stuck on. And this is one of those games where if all your party members die, you just get kicked back to the load screen. Again, unless you're on the lower difficulties, which means you get a free retry. And it's not even like a retry, it literally just fills all your health and mana back up and puts you back in the fight. So, there you go. So let's do this. Slash away. Not much else I can do really except get on the attack, so I might as well do just that.
I'm coming. Here.
That's a lot of damage my dudes just took right there. You see that? They went from nearly full health to red health in one bloody attack. I hate it when that happens. Really should demonize the demons.
Releasing my powers.
And we'll put up Iron Shell 2. And we'll start healing. Because we need these guys alive. We need the attackers alive, but of course I had barely any time to level them up before it got grindy as hell, so yeah. What? Wait, what did I pick on her? My finger must have slipped. I went to multi-cure. No, I want to high cure.
I'm coming.
I was expecting someone to die in that fight, but I guess I got lucky. So let's just focus all our attention on healing her.
I'm coming. Not yet.
And our party's been knocked off the thing, so now we've got her up front. Great. Star Crush, because it's effective against God type, which is, apparently what all the bosses in this game are. Gods, despite being demons. Odd, but okay. I know I'm not playing particularly well, but honestly, I don't really care. No, I want her on the attack. Terrabane again, Fast Blade again. Heal, multi-cure, go. Very little damage on her. Which means I'm going to need to do a massive amount of grinding in order to get past her normally on the difficulty that I was playing on, which is really frustrating. It's such a strange difficulty increase, considering the game literally drops a bloody wyvern boss fight on you out of nowhere, but it's no harder than any of the demons you fought already, so I don't know why this massive difficulty increase is just out of nowhere. Also, she gets like 2 attacks, and one of them hits every member of the party. Might as well multi-cure again, everyone can use it. I'll just hold triangle, it makes it faster. Multi-cure again, because why not? Multi-cure again, because why not? And she's out of mana, so she's now useless to us. That's a massive lightning strike. Honestly, I'm probably going to die, because I'm out of mana. I haven't seen any mana fixing stuff just yet. And her health is just ridiculous, and she gets stronger when she gets to half her health. I'm guessing she's meant to be the major. Yeah, screw it, I'm just gonna hit auto attack until I die. Which, as you can see, didn't take very long at all. So yeah, that was a quick look at Demon Gaze 2. It feels like a step back in every way from even the original Demon Gaze. It isn't any fun. I find myself giving very little reason to give a damn. It's exceedingly linear to the point where they even forced you to have specific characters instead of making your own party, which is frustrating. It doesn't feel like they've taken any steps forward in the gameplay anywhere. Weird difficulty bumps and drops, and just a lot of other weird crap. At least they actually did a decent job with, like, the presentation, but other than that, I don't care. I really don't. I wouldn't recommend it. Get the original or get Dungeon Travelers 2. Please, Atlas, if you're out there and listening, for the love of God, please localize Dungeon Travelers 2 too. That would be fantastic. But yeah, I've got nothing else to say on it. I don't really like it. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.